Hello, everybody. Okay, for the reading. I'm going to stay in here tonight. I'm not going to do the green screen. I'm having trouble figuring it out. I figured some out, but there's a lot more to figure out. And rather than go through all that tonight, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read right here.
What are we gonna do tonight?
Well, Buster, I am going to read the rest of that chapter. But I need to have a discussion with everybody out there. What about? I'm going to keep the reading down to twice a week. Oh, what are we going to do the rest of the week? Well, we'll do some art and crafts, and we'll do some puppet time. Oh, that's that. Yes, it is.
I like that idea. Will we be in our dog houses? Do we get to go from there?
Some of the times, yeah, I think that's a great idea. You know what? We still got all your Christmas decorations up.
Uh-oh. What's coming up next?
I think it's Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah. And from what you've said, it's
My birthday!
Yes, Buster's birthday is in February. So we'll be looking forward to celebrating his birthday in February.
I like that.
Anyway, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to schedule it yet. I'm going to finish the second half of Chapter 9 of The Search. We've been to the lake. Sheridan and Diggory have found out that it has healing properties. And they're both feeling much, they just feel healed all over and much younger, although there's quite a difference in age. So anyway, it's confusing. I mean, it's great to see my sores gone, but this is weird. Dig, this is more than weird. It's miraculous. Diggory jumped to his feet and ran toward the far edge of the clearing. Where are you going? Sheridan took off after him, surprised at how young and healthy she felt. She hadn't been able to run that well for probably 20 years. I'm going to see what's past these trees, Diggory yelled back. When they reached the tree line, neither of them was out of breath. Did we just discover the fountain of youth? Sheridan asked rhetorically. There was a well-tended row of grapes nearby. Each grabbed a cluster of the juicy purple grapes. These are delicious. Sheridan's blue eyes rolled with pleasure. Diggory was pulled back the thick foliage and peering through the trees when Sheridan started to follow him. She could see the path was much darker and smelled a musty, sour odor when Diggory turned, grabbing her shoulders and pushed her back. We aren't going in there. We'd be lost or dead within minutes. Oh, you are exaggerating, Dig. Just a little, aren't you? Not even a little bit. We need to get back anyway, before dark. Come on, I have some questions to ask. I'm tired of this so good, so bad crap. She took off at a run back toward the town. Hold on there, lady, Diggory called. I've got some questions of my own. When they arrived back at Hyde Inn, it was dusk. Sheridan stepped heavily through the hall and into the lobby, yelling, "Catch!" the whole way. What is going on here? The old bearded innkeeper came around the corner with part of his supper still on his mustache. The fact that whatever it was looked bloody was not something Sheridan wanted to see right then. Catch, where are we? What is this place? Hidden, standing in the middle of my inn, shouting at me like a crazy woman. That's not what I mean, and I think you know it. What is this place? There doesn't seem to be a way out once you get in. We just came from the most life-sustaining ecosystem I've ever seen. That meadow has fruit and nut trees, plants and animals anyone could ever want to see. It is idyllic. We just drank from that lake, and both of us are healthier than we've probably ever been. And when I washed Diggory's sores, they not only healed, they disappeared. Sheridan stopped for a breath after her rant. Catch was looking at them as if he was waiting for a complaint. So what is the problem? It's unnatural, Diggory jumped in. Then I looked through the trees, and past them I see a dark canyon full of, I don't know what I saw, but it had the most awful stench. You went into the canyon? How did you get back out of it? Catch looked surprised. Don't be evasive, Diggory spoke up. I didn't say we went into it. I saw it. I stopped Sheridan, and we hightailed it out of there. Okay. Cook looked almost ill. I wanted to wait until you felt comfortable living with me before I said anything. Catch started to explain. Catch! A male voice came from behind them. Sheridan and Diggory turned in unison to see a man standing in front of them with loose-fitting linen pants and tunic. He wore a woolen vest over his tan clothing. Who are you? Diggory took the lead. I'm Shepherd. The man stood simply as he opened the shepherd's closet door, put a long stick he held in the corner, and hung his wool vest on a hook. Come, little ones, Shepherd commanded, and 2 sheep followed him outside. Sheridan looked back at Catch. Well, now that's another new one. So that is Shepherd? She pointed toward the door, where Shepherd disappeared a moment before. Shepherd is a shepherd. Would I have expected anything else in hidden? Catch seemed nervous. Would the 2 of you like to step out into my garden? It's very nice. And Shepherd, well, be there later if you go there. The old man's sudden agitation and offer confused Sheridan. What garden? You've never mentioned it before, unless you mean the meadow. But we were just there all day. No, there is a garden beyond the inn, through those doors. They were standing in a ballroom in the opposite wing of the one Sheridan had seen before with all of the pieces of people's lives. They stood in a beautifully decorated room with red velvet upholstered Gothic furniture made of dark walnut. There were side tables along the walls filled with vases of the imitation Lunas flowers. The flowers, like the one in her room that morning, were not quite right. The petals were every bit as feathery, but they were very pale ivory, instead of the white of the ones in the pictures. The yellow stamen was just yellow, not a shimmering gold tones she'd seen portrayed. And leaves didn't seem as meaty, and the veins were thinner and not as red. Nevertheless, Sheridan could barely believe they were as toxic as Cook and Vida led her to believe. That sounds nice, Catch, and if it's anywhere near as gorgeous as this room, I'm sure it would be pleasant. But we came back for answers. Diggory shook his head no. I'm exhausted and frustrated. I think I'll go to my room and simmer down before bed. Enjoy a nice peaceful evening in your garden, Catch. Oh, I don't go into the garden. Catch's shoulders slumped, and he stood shuffling his feet. It was a long slide down his mountainous ego. Sheridan was puzzled, and a little sorry for the old man. He suddenly had the ancient look of their first meeting. Catch scratched his head. Listen. And I mean listen carefully to what I have to say. You don't leave Hidden just because you want to. Hidden is not of the realm from whence you came. There are 2 destinations from here. It is totally up to you which way you go. The soft but authoritative quality of Catch's voice caught them both off guard. Suddenly, Sheridan became very concerned about who the inhabitants of Hidden were and what they wanted from their guests. Are we prisoners then? The threatening male voice came back. She knew Diggory angered easily. Not in the sense that you think, sir. It will come clear to you as you pass through Hidden and the lands around it. Each leads to a new destination. But the choice will be yours. I must ask you a question now. A dead calm came over the group. The deafening silence made Sheridan edgy and ready to snap at the old man. What? She flailed her arms in front of her. It was an impatient gesture, as was her tone. Do you believe me? It is very important that you believe what I tell you. After all that's happened, it's hard to trust anyone. But for now, I'll believe you, Catch, Sheridan replied. I'm not so sure you should, Sheridan. Don't be so easily taken in. There's something going on here more than what he is telling, Diggory said with his jaw clenched. Of course there is more than I have told you. You can't understand it all in one day, or even in 2 or 3. I want to see these other destinations, so I can find a way to get the heck out of here. Diggory, Catch tried to reason with the young man. You will see what is here for you to see, but please keep an open mind. Sheridan threw her hands out to her sides and let them flop back against her legs. With a huge sigh, she waved to Diggory and went to her rooms. She didn't get any answers that night. She didn't feel it mattered anymore. Instead, she slipped into her home. She didn't think about it as a replica. She wanted to feel familiarity. After making a small supper of ham and cheese sandwiches and some carrots, she sat down to eat behind the television. It didn't even occur to Sheridan that she was watching a news broadcast from Lincoln, Nebraska. Wow.